The plane jolted sharply, shuddering in the mid-Atlantic skies, just 3 hours into its overnight flight from New York to London. Screams echoed through the cabin. Oxygen masks dropped. A baby wailed. And somewhere in row 14, a 12-year-old boy named Liam Carter clutched the armrest with one hand, and his backpack with the other. But he didn't scream. He was too busy thinking. Just 2 weeks earlier, Liam had been at his small-town library in Vermont, buried in books about aviation and emergency flight protocols. A self-proclaimed aviation geek, he could name every aircraft model from the last 50 years and explain how jet engines worked, all before his voice had even cracked. His dream? To become an airline pilot like his late father, Captain James Carter, who had died in a training accident when Liam was only 6. Tonight was supposed to be Liam's first international flight. His mom, Emily, a single nurse who worked night shifts at the local hospital, had saved up for years to surprise him with a trip to London. It was their moment of joy after years of quiet struggle. But at 37,000 feet, joy turned to fear in an instant. The pilot's voice came over the intercom, shaky and urgent. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a medical emergency in the cockpit. We are attempting an emergency diversion." The voice trailed off. Then silence. That's when panic crept in. The flight attendants rushed to the cockpit and found both the captain and the co-pilot unconscious, one due to a suspected heart attack, the other possibly from low oxygen exposure. The autopilot was on, but the plane had no one left to land it. Someone screamed, "Is there a pilot on board?" Liam stood up. His voice barely rose above the chaos. I know how to fly." People laughed. Some didn't hear him. Others looked at him like he was joking, or worse, delusional. But a flight attendant, a young trainee named Alina, locked eyes with him and saw something different: focus, not fear. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I studied flight systems. I know this aircraft, Boeing 787 Dreamliner. My dad flew it. I've trained on simulators. I can help," Liam said, heart pounding but eyes clear. In any other situation, no one would have listened. But this wasn't any other situation. 10 minutes later, with an oxygen mask strapped to his face, Liam was in the cockpit. With ground control patched through, he followed instructions with incredible precision. His hands trembled at first, but his voice remained steady. He guided the jet, made corrections for turbulence, and lined up a path to the emergency runway in Shannon, Ireland. The air traffic controller, stunned by the clarity of the child's commands, later said, it was like talking to a seasoned pilot, only this one's favorite snack was still peanut butter and jelly. As the wheels touched down smoothly and safely, cheers erupted in the cabin. Passengers cried, clapped, hugged strangers. But Liam didn't cheer. He looked at the co-pilot, now regaining consciousness, and whispered, "We made it, Dad." "I mean, sir." Paramedics rushed aboard. The pilots were stabilized. Liam and his mother were escorted off the plane in awestruck silence. News cameras had already begun to swarm the tarmac. That night, as the world slept, headlines around the globe lit up. 12-year-old boy lands plane, saves 211 lives. Aviation prodigy? Or just a hero? But for Liam, the adrenaline faded into exhaustion. He curled up in a hotel blanket beside his mom and said only one thing before falling asleep. "Do you think Dad would have been proud?" Emily kissed his forehead, tears in her eyes. "He's never stopped being proud."